Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? How's everybody doing today? I thought I'd come in here and spend a little time with the people today. So, I just want to spend a little time, talk about a couple of things. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. I just want to talk to y'all today. So I'm gonna wait for a few people to get in here, and then I'll definitely save this video. I'm definitely save this one. But hey, how you doing? How you doing? 6'8", how you doing? How you doing, Miss Brandios? Yeah. So I want to talk to y'all a little bit this evening. I had a really good day. I'm tired. I'm very tired, but I just want to talk to y'all. I feel like a few people might need to hear this right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it out, and I'm gonna just say it how it come, and if y'all feel it, y'all feel it. If y'all don't. But I just want to share a couple things with y'all. A lot of people go through a lot of things in life, and you never know anybody's struggle. You never know what anybody's going through. Social media is social media, right? So what you see on social media oftentimes isn't what it really is in real life, right? And a lot of people, they want to be successful. It says they want us to be successful, but very few people will put in the work, right? But the thing about being successful is, it's a lot of y'all trying to build businesses out there. It's a lot of y'all trying to be successful out there. It's a lot of y'all trying to, get the grind going, and, things ain't working out the right way. You know what I mean? Things, you going through things, and, some of y'all feel like not enough. Some of y'all feeling that like, it ain't for you. You know what I mean? Some of y'all feeling like, what's the point? Some of y'all got people in y'all ear telling y'all that y'all not enough. You know what I mean? Telling y'all crazy for doing what you're doing, crazy for trying, that just go ahead and go back to doing what you're doing because it ain't for you, whatever, right? I'm going to tell you something. I ain't nothing but a failure that finally got it right. Like, I'm going to just keep it real with you. I'm a product of failure. I'm a failure that finally got it right. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Listen, failure is temporary as long as you keep getting back up, right? Failure is only permanent the moment you decide that you're not going to get up again, right? So at that moment, failure becomes permanent. As long as you keep getting back up, failure ain't nothing more than an obstacle. It's a purifying. It says somewhere in the Bible that you're purified and refined by the fire, and failure is fire. Believe that. Failure teaches you what not to do. That's what failure does. Failure definitely teaches you what not to do. Teaches you a lesson if you just sit back and reflect a little bit, right? And that reflection gives you that clear lesson, and that clear lesson, it's that clear lesson that you're gonna get that is gonna help you not make that mistake again and go off and make another one, right? And so that's the thing, right? Just because you fail once and you learn a lesson doesn't mean you're not gonna fail again. Like, I can tell you from experience, like, if there's one thing about it, for a long period of time, boy, I found new and interesting ways to fail, like spectacularly. Yo, when I tell you that I could find a new and interesting way to fail, boy, I learn a lesson, and I think, oh, I got it now, and I'll be up on my way, and I find a new way to fail. I ain't failed the same way that I failed the last time, I just failed a different way, right? And so, then, I learn that lesson, and then I get up and I go again, and I'm like, hey, here we go, and boom, I find another interesting way to fail. Like, you gonna fail your way to success. Let me tell you straight up that you are definitely going to fail your way all the way to success. Let no one tell you anything differently. Anybody that can't sit up and honestly tell you that they are a product of failures, that they are a failure who finally got it right, they're liars. You're not going to wake up and get this right. It ain't going to be right on day one. It ain't going to be right on month one. It ain't going to be right on year one. It may not even be right on year 5. But the thing about it is, there's no timeline to success. There is no timeline to that. Don't let anybody ever tell you that if you ain't made it by, X amount of time that you not going to make it. Like, because it's people that ain't make it till they in their 40s. People ain't make it till they in their 50s. But if they had to quit in their 40s, if they had to quit in their 30s, right, they would have never made it at 50. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality, right? Like, this is a journey. This is not a destination. Success is most definitely a journey. And one thing about it, just because you finally get it right doesn't mean that you won't make some mistakes after getting it right. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you can't get all the way to the pinnacle and fall down again. See, people think that, they get the level of money that they want and then all of a sudden they have arrived and that it's all good. No, like, see, success is not just making it, it's staying. Like, so you don't just make it, you got to stay making it, right? You got to stay. Like, you can't just arrive. No, you got to stay. Like, so, it's not how much money you make, but how much you keep, right? And wealth is, the difference between rich and wealth is that, people who are rich only focus on the money. People who are wealthy focus on the quality of their relationships and deepening the strength and bonds of their relationships, right? So, the reality of the situation is this is a journey, okay? Success is a journey. And everybody's journey is different, right? When you're thinking about quitting, when you're thinking about failing, right? I want to give you something to think about, right? You can learn a lot from children if you pay attention. You really, truly can, right? But we don't really pay attention to our kids and we don't really pay attention to what's really happening, because if you just watch your kids, if you got kids out there, or even if you got nieces and nephews, like, if you just pay attention to the way they move, right? Man, when I tell you they teach you so much, they teach you a lot. Let me tell you, when a child is born, right? When a child is coming out of its mother, that's a fight. You got to fight to come out of there. You don't just slide out. Not a child got to fight its way out. You got to be a fighter, right? Because if you give up on your way out, you're going to die. That's reality. But the other thing that you learn from watching childbirth, right, is the fact that that child has to fight, but that child don't get out by himself. The doctor helps. The mom has to keep pushing, right? That child is supported the whole way through, right? Nobody gets anywhere by themselves. Anybody who told you that they made it by themselves is a liar. You can't make it by yourself. You need help. You need support. You need people to open doors for you. You need people to provide you some capital from time to time to get where you want to be. Sometimes you need somebody to just tell you that you're good enough. That you're going to make it. You just keep going. Sometimes that little motivation be all the difference. You see what I'm saying? The difference between quitting and trying it again, right? But you got to fight too. Because you can have all the support in the world, but if you ain't got no fight, right, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. It's over with for you. You know what I mean? Like, listen, like, man, when I tell you that you gonna have late nights, and that's not to say that you're not going to want to quit. Man, it's a lot of times in my career where I wanted to quit. Hell, I almost went back to the Army at one point. I remember one time I was so depressed. Like, I was just laid up in my bed. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I ain't trying to eat. Like, I don't want to do nothing. Like, it's over with. Like, my life is over. I'm a failure. Like, I tried and it ain't work out. But boy, one thing about it, if I ain't had that person in my ear talking about get your ass up, you know what I mean? Like, and try it again, bruh, I would have quit in 2007 when I failed my mortgage company. I would have quit then. Believe me, I would have quit. Y'all, I promise you I was on my way back to the Army, bruh. I was like, listen, I'm finna reenlist. I'm finna go and do this 20 and be done with it. Like, I'm finna get this pension and I'm straight. Boy, I'm glad I didn't do that. Boy, am I glad I didn't do that. It's been hell getting here, though. Like, bro, let me tell you, it's been hell. Boy, it ain't been easy. Yo, listen, you gonna make them sacrifice. You got to make sacrifices to get here. You got to make those sacrifices. Like, you got to be willing to put it all on the line. Like, you can't put in 10%. You ain't gonna be able to put in 20%. You ain't even gonna be able to put in 99.999. You got to put in 100%. And it's going to be times where you think, man, you're going to be so exhausted, you think you ain't got nothing left. You're going to have to dig deep and find something else to keep going. You're going to have to dig a little deeper. And when you go through this process of finding that level of success, right, finding the success that you want, you're going to find new levels of deep that you didn't even know you had if you just keep moving. See, God will never put more on you than you can bear. But sometimes you think just because it hurt a little bit, or just because it's exhausting, just because it's tiring, just because, you got to make a choice between, paying the internet bill or paying the light bill or paying for your server or paying for, like that light bill or whatever, like you trying to weigh it out and figure out what's worth it. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Real talk. I can tell you for a fact that it's been times along my journey where I've sat in the dark. Believe that. It's been times along my journey where, you know what I mean? But I remember it was a time where the water got turned off. And I had to flush them toilets. And I couldn't flush them toilets because the water off. I had to go across the street to the neighbor's house with a bucket, put some water in that thing, put that water in the toilet, and get that poop on down the toilet. That's real. Alright? Like, I'm telling you. It's been times when I done had to power the house, the electricity in the house with a generator. Yo, this is funny now, but it wasn't funny then. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not willing to put it all on the line, if you're not willing to put it all on the line for your success, hey, look here. Look here. It ain't finna happen for you. It's not gonna happen for you. It's just simply not gonna happen for you. Man, you know how many top ramen packets I ate? Man, I done ate so many top ramen packets, so many peanut butter sandwiches. Not peanut butter and jelly, no, peanut butter. Them choke sandwiches. You know how many choke sandwiches I done ate? Listen, many times I had to drink water. I done been down so bad on this journey that I done had to stand in the homeless line for the free food, huh? So I could feed the kids, huh? Yeah, I've been there. I done won some, I done lost some. You know what I mean? You're gonna take some L's in this. This ain't an automatic win. You're gonna take some L's. If you ain't ready to take them level of L's, then this ain't for you. That's real. But see, I understood that if I just kept trying, maybe I might be able to get it right. And boy, when I tell you it's a hit to your pride and a hit to your confidence when you fail, boy, you be thinking you ain't good enough. You be thinking you're stupid. You be thinking everything that everybody said about you is 100% right. Why, man? Fuck it, I'ma just give up. Like, bro, listen, like I've been there. But let me tell you something I learned from kids, right? Let me tell you something I learned from kids. If you ever watched a kid, you see him crawling around and all of that, right? But they watching everything. They watching everybody, right? And they see everybody standing up. They see everybody running and walking and doing all of that. And finally they decide, hell with this, I want to do it too, right? So what they do? Anybody got kids know what they do. They get to the end of that, the shortest table they can find. They get to the end of that thing and they reach their little arm up there and they pull themselves up. And then something happens. Bam, they fall. And they hurt their little behinds. And they cry. And it hurts. And as a parent, you want to protect your kids from that pain. So you run over there and you be stressed out. Like, don't do that again. You're going to hurt yourself. Don't do that. What you don't realize is you teaching your child how to be a quitter. Instead of encouraging them to keep trying. It's the only way they're going to do it. They got to keep going. Right? So you got to be careful with the seeds you plant into your kids, right? So look, But you know, kids don't listen any damn way. They just don't do it, right? So all the yelling you can do in the world ain't gonna stop that kid from going back over there trying to pull it up again, So here you go. He over there again at that table, pulling up. Next thing you know, bam, he falls again. Guys, it hurts. All that. You back over there yelling again. You back over there stressed out again, right? But if you pay attention to kids, right? They fall and fall and fall and fall. And then eventually one day, you looking over there and he laughing because he's standing up. He done did it. He succeeded. He failed his way to success. Now he moving around the table real nice and good, right? Sliding around the end of the table, going around and round and around the table, feeling real good. And then something happens. That little dude, he gonna let go of that table. And as soon as he let go and that little wobbly leg get to try to lift it up to take a step, bam, he falls again. And we go through this cycle all over again. But eventually, he put one leg in front of the other, and next thing you know, he wobbling and waddling around the house, feeling real good about himself. But he failed his way all the way to success. With each time that he took a step and failed, he learned a lesson. And he learned that he can't do it that way like that no more. So he had to do it differently. You see what I'm saying? So he tried it a different way. And he kept trying different ways and trying different ways and trying different ways until he found a way that actually works. He failed until he got it right. He's a failure that finally got it right. That's all. That's all we are. We ain't nothing but failures who finally get it right. That's the difference between people that quit and people that finally succeed. We just failures that finally got it right. I'm going to just keep it real with you. And then, so now that kid is walking, he feeling good, but he see all the big kids running. So he want to run too. So he decide he going to pick up the little pace on his little chubby little legs and decide he want to take off. And he falls. Bim. But you ever notice what happens when a child, when they first begin to take off and run and they fall? It hurts. They cry. But if you ever paid attention, the momentum of their progress pushes them forward. They fall forward. It hurt, but they still made progress. Huh? Yeah, they bruised their chin a little bit. Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, go and cry that on out. But they still made progress. And they get up and they do it again. And next thing you know, they running around. And boy, one thing about it, once kids start running, it's over with, boy. You can't stop them from that point, boy. And next thing you know, the talking comes and they just don't shut up from that point on. So, but you can learn a lot from kids if you just pay attention. Kids teach us that you learn how to succeed from trial and error. You learn how to succeed from failing. You gotta fall a whole bunch of times to be able to get it right. You gotta fail a whole bunch of times to be able to get it right. But if you just keep trying, you will get it right. You're gonna get it right. Guaranteed you're gonna get it right. See, we are not born as failures. That's not how we are born. Then we ain't born that way. We are not born as quitters. That's not how we're born. We're born as fighters. We fight our way into this world and we fight for everything that we want. From crawling to walking to running. We fight for that. We fail our way to success for that. We don't give up until we get it. Society is what makes us quitters because they put all of these negative things into our spirits about our limitations and what we can't do and what we're not capable of and what we're not good enough to be doing. Let me tell you something. You can do anything that you want to do in this life as long as you are willing to fail enough to succeed at doing it. That's it. That's all it takes. The willingness to fail a lot. Business sucks until it doesn't. It does not work until it does. It's how it works. There is nothing in this life that you are going to have worthwhile without some failure and some pain and some suffering and some struggling along the way. And if you are not willing to put the time into struggling, if you are not willing to put the time into failing, if you are not willing to get hurt a little bit, if you are not willing to lose some money, lose some sleep, if you are not willing to cry yourself to sleep out of stress, if you are not willing to pull all-nighters as long as you have to, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to make it. If your ass is allergic to top ramen, you might want to consider other options. You know how many fried turkey bologna sandwiches I done made? And one thing about it, boy, I was the king of sugar water. Because I couldn't afford that juice. But I could afford a big-ass bag of sugar. Yeah. The struggle is real until it's not. But see, people quit long before they get to the end of the finish line. They go run off and they go get them a little 9-to-5 somewhere just so they can pay the bills. You know what I mean? You got a job. You just over broke. Now you stressed out every month anyway. Because the money ain't enough to support the lifestyle that you really want to have, right? You can't take vacation when you want to. You got to ask for PTO days. You got to call in and bring a doctor's note in if you get sick. You're an indentured servant. So simply because you don't have the willingness to fail your way all the way to success, you sell yourself off into a quasi-slavery-like system. You letting somebody else tell you what your time is worth. They're going to tell you what you're going to do every day. They're going to tell you when you're allowed to take vacation. They're going to tell you when you're allowed to take a day off. Man, you got a boss. So you got old massa all over again. You trapped on the plantation and don't even know it. When all you got to do is be willing to fail a little bit. Be willing to have some intestinal fortitude to see it all the way through. And then you don't have to worry about having somebody else dictating your time. You can dictate your own time at that point. Know what I mean? And be clear, I'm going to say this again. Just because you got a little money in the bank don't mean you're successful. So a lot of people get a little money in the bank, then run off. They want to buy the latest hairdo. They want to buy the flashiest car. They want to have the flashiest outfit. They want to have all of that. Yo, man, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. What you doing for a legacy? If you got kids out there and you got a few $100,000 in the bank and you done ran out and bought a flashy car, you wrong. Because what you should have done is set up a 529 college savings plan for your child. Oh, okay, let me stop. Let me cut it out. See what I'm saying? When you really trying to ensure, a future, long-term success, you do long-term things. You set up, IRAs. You set up family trust. You set up, 529 college savings plans. You set up these various things to ensure that your money will continue to grow. So you can start generating that passive income so you can, while you sleeping, your money is still working, right? See, money grows exponentially on itself. But you got to put it to work right. You can't put it in a car. Now, you can't put it in a flashy car when you only got a few $100,000 in the bank. That doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Yeah, you look good. Yeah, you dress good. But now, just because your income increases doesn't necessarily mean your lifestyle has to increase. If you was good, listen, if you had a refrigerator full of food before and your lights was on before, just because you made a little more money don't mean you got to increase the lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that. You good where you at. Keep growing. Keep reinvesting. The smartest thing you can do is keep reinvesting your money. Right? You ain't got to upgrade your lifestyle just because you get a few more dollars in the bank. I'll just keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest mistake that people make. They get a few little dollars in the bank account. Now they want everybody to see the success. But you haven't even yet because you ain't even set up everything you need to be setting up to make sure that your wealth is going to continue to increase, that your wealth is going to continue to grow, that you're going to be able to leave something for these children that you got. So that way when they turn 18 and they're ready to go to college, they may have the GPA to get accepted, but not a GPA to get a full scholarship. You actually got money in the bank to be like, I got you, baby, go off and be great. Because the goal of a parent is to make sure that their children go farther than they did. Last I checked. I don't know. And I got kids, but I mean, I could be wrong. Hey, what do I know? Right? But at the end of the day, y'all, I just want to spend a little time talking to y'all today. Just kind of tell y'all a few things, a few thing or two here about this journey. Like, this journey that it takes to be successful. Like, what it really, 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 really takes. You got to want it. You got to be hungry for this. You got to eat, breathe, live, and shit this thing. You got to. And you can't be afraid of failure. Never be afraid to fail. Because failing is inevitable anyway. See, being afraid to fail is a terrible thing. Because at the end of the day, right, your fear of failure is going to prevent you from succeeding. And the worst part, the worst news, right, is that at the end of the day, your fear of failure isn't going to stop you from failing. It's just going to stop you from doing the one thing that you really want to do that's actually going to make you successful. Because you're still going to fail many other ways. Failure is an inevitability of life. So unless you're going to lay in the bed all day, never get up, and do nothing, you're going to fail. And guess what? You can fail just simply laying in the bed. Because if you lay in the bed all day, and you don't do nothing, you ain't making no income, you can't pay no bills, so eventually you're going to be laying in that bed with no lights on. And eventually, if you got a landlord, the landlord going to be there to put you out. Right? So the landlord going to be right there to put you out. So now, you're laying in the street. So failure, so some people think that not taking action is a smart thing. So not taking action is an action all in itself. Right? That's an action too. Like, don't ever let the fear of failure stop you from doing anything. Don't ever let anybody prevent you from having what you want to have. I'll tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story right now. I'm going to get on up out of here. But I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story, help you understand this. So with 4 frogs, right? I'm going to tell you my 4 frog story. I like my 4 frog story. So these 4 frogs, right? And they decided they were going to race up this hill. Now these were small frogs, right? And decided they were going to race up this hill. And now this was a really steep hill. This is a really high, really, really, really steep hill, right? And the whole community came out to check this out, right? These frogs, they're going to take off racing, right? And when I tell you this hill was mad steep, mad high, like all of that, right? But these frogs had decided they're going to race up there. So, the whole community gathered around, somebody said go, and they took off. And as soon as they took off, right, you hear the folks in the community, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to die. Don't quit, or quit, give up, leave it alone, quit. And the longer they hopped, the louder it got. And finally, one by one, the little frogs just stopped jumping. Except for that one. There was this one frog, right? And he kept hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping. He was tired. He was hurting. He was all of that. But he kept hopping and hopping and hopping. And the closer he got to the top, the louder these folks got, right? But eventually, he hopped and hopped and hopped and got all the way to the top. So I'm going to ask y'all, the community, why do you think that frog made it to the top? Anybody? Why do you think the frog made it to the top? Anybody got an answer? Okay, I'm going to tell y'all why the frog made it to the top. See, the frog didn't make it to the top because he ignored people. The frog made it to the top simply because he was deaf. He couldn't hear anybody. So he couldn't hear all the negativity that they were trying to pour into his mind, that they were trying to pour into his spirit, that was trying to keep him, that would have possibly prevented him from succeeding, right? That's why he made it to the top. He was simply deaf. He couldn't hear. And that's how you got to be in life. So you got to be deaf to negativity. You got to be deaf to those people that's putting that stuff in your mind. You got to be deaf to them people telling you what you can't do, what you can't accomplish, what you can't be, all of that. You got to be deaf to all of that. You can't hear that. See, because if you allow that stuff to get into your mind, it begins to get into your heart, it begins to get into your spirit, and you begin to believe what these people are telling you. See what I'm saying? You begin to believe what these people are telling you. And see, the thing about it is, if somebody can put something in your mind to stop you from moving on the journey that you're moving towards the success that you want to have, then the reality of the situation, if a person can control your mind, they can control everything you are and everything that you will ever become. Huh? It's just like, you ever been to a football party or a Super Bowl party or anything like that? You always, you see the quarterbacks out there, they doing what they doing. They playing at the highest level that you could possibly play at, right? But you always got that one armchair quarterback that's sitting on the couch. As soon as the quarterback make a mistake, he talking about what he gonna do. Man, if it would have been me, man, that nigga trash. Man, if it was me, I would have done this. Hold up, bruh. I'm going to need you to hold up a second. And I'm going to need to put this into perspective. Because number one, it's not you. It'll never be you. Because the fact of the matter is you didn't have the intestinal fortitude, discipline, skill level, and execution ability and experience to be able to climb to that level. So the fact that you think that you can talk about somebody who is playing at the highest professional level that you could ever play at in this sport, and you can possibly imagine in that situation, making those decisions, it's fine to me. Hold on. Did you even play in, let's check here. Did you even play in high school? Did you even play did you play in college? Did you play Pop Warner? Let me find out you was that dude, that water boy. Let me find out you was the one riding on the bench. Huh? So you got to put it into perspective when people tell you stuff, right? Because oftentimes when people are telling you what you can't do, the truth of the situation is they really not telling you what you can't do. They simply telling you what they can't do. And they trying to project their insecurities and their fears and their doubts and their lack of skill, their lack of intestinal fortitude, their lack of core belief in themselves. They trying to project that on you. It's like crabs in a bucket, because they don't have the courage. They trying to take your courage. Don't let somebody that is not where you want to be take your courage from you. Because anytime anybody tells me that I can't do something, I got to take a step back and take a look at where they are in life. And I got to ask myself, do I really want to be there? Because if I don't want to be there, I better not listen to that guy right there. Because that guy clearly does not have the answers. I need to go and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So you got to be deaf to that stuff. Most people that's talking, they not doing. Because if you're too busy running your mouth, you don't have enough time to walk. If you got time to tell me what I can't do, you definitely ain't got time to walk and do what you're supposed to be doing for you. So I definitely can't hear nothing that you got to say. Bottom line, period. Period. That's how this go. Never, ever let somebody that ain't doing what they supposed to be doing for themselves and are not where you want to be detract you from going where it is that you can go. Because if ain't nobody told you yet, you can do anything you want to do in this life as long as you're willing to work for it. As long as you're willing to fail your way all the way through it. As long as you're willing to make the sacrifices and do what it's going to take for you to be able to get there. You can have it. You can have it. And it don't matter what the color of your skin is. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter male or female. It don't have nothing to do with your religious background, your sexual orientation. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. None of that. None of that. I am living proof. I can tell you it ain't got nothing to do with none of that. It starts with you. I'm going to tell you something we learn in Islam. Allah does not change the conditions of the people until they're willing to change the conditions within themselves. Let me say that again. Allah does not change the condition of the people until they are willing to change the conditions within themselves. So until you begin to change you, right, the doors ain't gonna open for you. Allah not gonna make a way for you if you're not gonna open the door. See, that's the thing. So, a lot of people talk about, I'm trusting God, I'm praying, I'm believing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay, that's cool. But last I checked, I was born and raised Christian. Before I became a Muslim, I was born and raised Christian. So I know a thing or two about that Bible right there, right? Let me tell you something about that Bible. That Bible says faith without works is dead. Dead. You have all the faith in the world you want to have. But if you ain't willing to put no work into it, it don't mean nothing. You can pray to the high heavens. If you ain't gonna work, it ain't gonna happen for you. Because you're not working to change your own conditions. So how you expect the law to change in your circumstance if you're not gonna change your conditions? How you expect God to open the door for you and make a way out of no way if you ain't trying to make a way for yourself? See, the cool thing about supernatural is God only adds a super to your natural, and that's what makes it supernatural. But God blesses you every day with a sound mind. He allows you to wake up every day. You got a sound mind, you got functioning limbs, right? You got the ability, right, to think. You got the ability, if you got a computer, I mean, this is the day of the internet age, everybody got a computer and a phone. Made Google available for everybody. Google is the largest free library in the history of the world. So if you don't want to go to the library and go get a book and get a library card, if you don't want to spend money at Barnes and Nobles, if you don't want to, do none of that, one thing about it, right, you can definitely Google. I learned a lot of stuff from Google. A lot. Me and Google best friends. I love me some Google. One thing about it, if I got a question, I'm going to Google and I'm typing in some keywords and I'm going to pull up a whole bunch of stuff and I'm going to read, and one thing going to lead to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, to another thing. Next thing, I've been up all night and I done learned a whole bunch of new things and I'm better for it, and I did it for the free. Hashtag for the free. I'm just saying. So it's all about what you're going to put your time, effort, and energy into, right? The word "I want to be successful" is very easy to say. There's a lot of people that want to do, that's going to do, that's all of that's easy. That's easy. The words are easy. The actions are hard. There is a wide gulf between what you're going to do and what you are doing. Your job is to build a bridge from what you're going to what you are doing. You have to build a strong enough bridge to be able to get yourself back and forth across that bridge multiple times. And that bridge has to be strong enough to where you can be able to take other people across the bridge with you. See, because God blesses you to be a blessing, right? So when you get, you got to give too. But if your bridge ain't strong enough to take nobody across with you, well, guess what? You turn into one of them egregious chargers who's just trying to get money off of everybody else instead of helping uplift the community as a collective. Oh, okay, I'm just saying, So, I mean, let's just be real here. And there's a lot of people that's going to start the bridge, right? There's a lot of people start the bridge, and then something happens and they quit a portion of the way through the bridge, and next thing you know, the bridge ain't finished, so they fall through the bridge and fall all the way to the abyss, all the way to the bottom of the abyss, not understanding that you done already started the bridge. Just keep going. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Listen, it's real simple. Can you leap and fly? That's really what this is. Can you leap and fly? Do you have the courage to back up when you see the edge of a cliff and run as fast as you can and jump your ass off that cliff? I'm talking about full on out jump, right? You're not going to fly right away. You're going to jump all the way out there and you're going to fall and it's going to hurt. But guess what? That don't mean you stop cliff jumping. That means you get up, dust yourself off, bandage yourself off, bandage yourself up, put a little iodine on it, put a little alcohol on it, rub it down to give yourself a chance to heal, and then go run and jump off the next cliff. And if you keep jumping, eventually you're going to fly. That's what's going to happen. That's how it works. And if you did it right and you manage relationships well, along the way, one of those times you're going to jump off and you're going to be in the midst of falling and somebody's going to catch you. And they going to fly with you, and they going to hold you, and they going to train you, and they going to nurture you until you grow those wings to be able to fly for yourself. But that's only if you manage your relationships right. See what I'm saying? See, this thing real simple. It's real simple when you really put it into perspective. You know what I mean? It just takes work. So you really want to be successful, just put in the work. Just earn it. Put in the work. Put in the work. That's all you got to do. Just grind. And I'm not talking about useless grinding. I'm talking about grinding. Grinding. It's a book that I want everybody to read. Everybody that's listening to this, it's a book I want you to get. It's called The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. I want everybody to get that book and read that book. I'll say it again. It's called The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. If you have never read that book before, you need to read that book, because what that book teaches you is that in order to be a subject matter expert in anything that you want to do in this life, right, to be surgical to where you can execute as a tool of consistent precision, right, it's going to take you 10,000 concerted hours. It takes 10,000 hours. 10,000 real hours. That doesn't mean that the time you sleep doesn't count. The time you eating doesn't count. The time you on social media doesn't count. The time you playing a game doesn't count. The time you running around doing what you're supposed to be doing that helps you benefit and get where you're trying to be and reach your ultimate goal, right? None of that stuff counts. You got to dedicate 10,000 concerted hours toward the craft that you are trying to hone and be proficient at. See, a lot of people say practice makes perfect. I don't believe that. Practice never makes perfect. You can never be perfect. Practice makes proficient. That's what practice does. Practice makes you proficient. It makes you an instrument of precision. That's what it does, right? So this 10,000 hours, study that book. They did a study on this actually and figured out that 10,000 hours takes 10 years approximately. The average person to get 10,000 concerted hours dedicated to refining your craft and your skill set takes 10 years. 10 years. That means it's going to suck the whole way through. If you're not willing to dedicate 10 years of time into becoming a subject matter expert at whatever it is that you want to do, this ain't for you. I'm going to be honest with you. Just ain't for you. I am a little over 14 years in at this point. So the things I give y'all for free, the things I'm telling y'all, right, it comes from over 14 years of experience at this point. I got my 10,000 hours. I got that. Know what I mean? I'm over my 10,000 hours. Know what I mean? That's why my knowledge hits different. That's why the quality of the things I tell you hits different. I'm well over 10,000 hours at this point. And so, see, when you put in that 10,000 hours, you learn a lot of different things, not just about your craft, but you learn a lot of other things, a lot of intangible things that surround your craft that help you be better for your craft. It's a lot of different skills you learn and a lot of different lessons you learn, a lot of interesting mistakes you're going to make, a lot of interesting things that's going to happen, a lot of trials and a lot of tribulations, a lot of purifying by the fire in multiple different ways, a lot of lessons that you're going to learn that is going to make you that instrument of precision that you need to be able to consistently execute in a way that is measurable and tangible for your balance sheet, for your bank account, for your family, right? You're going to learn about relationship management. You can't help but learn about relationship management because when you done put 10,000 hours in, you done burn some bridges along the way. Huh? Part of putting this 10,000, I done burned a lot of cool bridges, to be honest with you. It's called The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. But yeah, I done burned a lot of bridges along this way, doing people the wrong way, not learning the right way, not treating people the way I should have treated them. That's one thing that you learn about relationship. See, that was my journey into learning the importance of relationship management, right? That you got to treat people right because, see, if you don't treat people right, you end up on an island by yourself, and then when it get real, real hard and you need somebody to look out and throw you a lifeline, you ain't got nobody to call. Huh? Give me a second, y'all. I'm going to pin this book. The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. All right. So let me post that. Then I think I can do this like this. Let me see. Y'all got to work with me here. I ain't really so good at this yet. Oh, there you go. Pin comment. Bam! There it is. The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. If you ain't read it, go get it. Go get it. Read it. Every page. Don't skip nothing. And don't go on and try to get the little 10-minute snippets that they got on the internet that you can just read the little synopsis. Nah, read the whole book. See, that's the thing, right? Again, let's go back to that 10,000 hours, right? If you really serious about what you gonna try to do in this life, somebody give you a little game, a little something to read, you turn every page, right? You turn every page. That book is the truth. I'm telling you. Like, and when I read that book, I think I was probably about 6 years in. And it was sobering because I realized that 10 years was still 4 years off. Yo, I realized that 10 years was still 4 years off. Boy, I was depressed. I was like, oh, shit. I had to go through 4 more years of this hell? Oh, man. Don't do that, baby. Don't do it like that. But one thing about it, that book wasn't wrong. It definitely wasn't wrong. And one thing, right? See, when you get that 10,000 hours in, something clicks in your mind. Something clicks in your mind. Something changes. Something changes. You begin to understand something different, right? You stop wondering if you're good enough. You stop wondering if you're just getting lucky. You stop wondering if just things are just convergence of opportunities. You stop wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. You stop wondering when the next failure is coming. You don't think like that anymore. Once you got your 10,000 hours in, let me tell you something. You know that everything you know to be true is true. You know that there are going to be trials and tribulations along the way, but you are always risk mitigating and you are always putting contingency plans in place to ensure that when that other shoe tries to drop, you right there to catch it before it hit the ground. Huh? That's what happens when you got 10,000 hours in. That's what happens when you go over 10,000 hours. You become an expert at risk mitigants. The mistakes you make don't cost you everything because you learned. Because it didn't cost you everything before. It done hurt you before. And you know how not to allow that to happen again. That's what it means when you put in 10,000 hours. These are these intangible things that you learn outside of your craft that helps you stay in business, that helps you continue to grow, helps you continue to succeed, helps you continue to increase that wealth. You learn that it's not a good idea to go out and buy the hottest car on the market. You got 10,000 hours in. You understand that it's cool to get just a regular car because you understand that your wealth is not tied into your physical possessions. Your wealth is tied, number one, two, into the fact that while you're sleeping, your money is still growing exponentially on itself. You are generating passive income. So even if you got out to work one day, you ain't got to worry. You're not chasing no more. The money's chasing you now. See, that's what happens when you get 10,000 hours in, right? You start thinking a little bit differently. There's a mentality shift. Your mind shifts. That's how this works. See what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That is just how this works. Alright, y'all? So I just wanted to kind of share a few things with y'all because, you know, I had a great thing happen today and I was just reflecting over my life, reflecting over everything that I've been through, reflecting over the ups, the downs, reflecting on all the people that told me that I couldn't make it, reflecting on all the people after I had my little unneeded, unwanted, unplanned, undesirable vacation that said that when I got out that I was not going to make a comeback, that it was over for me, that it was quiet for me, that it was done. A lot of people said that, and you know, a lot of people, they treated me like I died. And that's real. And I can tell you unequivocally, while I can't go into the details right now, I promise you next year this will be all over the press. I can promise you as of today, I'm back. Hold that. Everything they said is a lie. And that's a fact today. But that's because, you know what I mean, I ain't quit. That's because I didn't let what people told me was going to be. I just kept quiet, kept low key, kept it moving, and I just executed. consistently and regularly. I'll let the work product speak for me. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. One thing about it, I don't need to go back and forth with you about what is or what could be, because one thing about it, my work product will always speak for me. My work product precedes me. That's a fact. That's why I love coming on every Sunday and just giving y'all game. Like, bruh, it speaks for itself. Which, by the way, almost all those letters, with the exception of one, I wrote myself just for y'all. Facts. So if any of y'all went into my link tree and got a chance to take a look at those letters, like, yeah, that was for y'all. Like, bruh, like, I did that for y'all. I took the time. Matter of fact, I took a Friday and a Saturday and wrote letters and refined letters and did all of that for y'all. And dropped it in a box for y'all. Ain't ask y'all for nothing. I never ask y'all for anything. Don't need to. My level of experience, my level of knowledge, my level of execution ability far exceeds having to charge for the most basics of things. Having to ask for y'all to do something for me for the most basics of things outside of liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling other people that you know can benefit about this. That's all I need y'all to do. That's it. I mean, but that's over 10,000 hours. That's what happens, right? When you really got it. It changed everything. Well, it changed the whole game. It changed the whole game. Anyway, listen, y'all. If y'all got any questions, feel free to use the bottom question mark little thing in the corner right there. I'm going to take a couple questions, and then I'm going to get on up out of here. Anybody got any questions? Now is the time. Alright, y'all. I don't see no questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. Y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming in, spending time with me. I'm definitely going to share this video. I'm going to save it. So I'm definitely going to save this video. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, tell other people about this that you know can benefit from this. And let's continue to grow, to help me grow the following, so I can get more eyes on this content, because the more people that follow me, the more people are going to be able to access these videos that I make, and the more people are going to be able to benefit from this free information that I'm giving. As always, we hashtag get real woke around here. As always, we hashtag for the free around here. You know what I mean? As always, if you need anything from me, reach out to my DM. I may not always be able to respond right away, but I do get back to the best of my ability, and I try to be responsive. Part 1 and Part 2 of the Understanding Credit are actually on my YouTube channel, and they're also in my highlights. If you click the highlight, the Financial Lit highlight in my Instagram, you'll be able to access them there. They're also saved as videos in my feed, my Instagram feed thing. Like, you just scroll down there. But if anything, you can just click my YouTube channel, click my link tree in my bio, click the YouTube link there. It's going to take you to my YouTube page. Feel free to subscribe there, and feel free to watch the videos. They're for y'all. So how do I feel about the landscape of the black community as far as scammers and miseducators? I actually did a video on that, specifically on that. That's also on my YouTube channel. It's also on my Instagram. Feel free to take a look at that. I spoke very plainly about that. So that's that. Thank you guys once again. As always, I always got to say it now. I'm learning how to say it now. Like, subscribe, follow, share, and tell other people that you know that can benefit from this free information. The more eyes on it, the more people benefit. Let's continue to uplift each other as a community. Thank y'all, and you guys just enjoy your evening. All right, have a great day.